Here we go. It's the Stuck on Sports podcast on Thursday, April 16th. I'm Kyle Maring. I'm here with Matt and Joe. How are you guys?
We're hanging in there, you know.
We're hanging in there. It only took us about an hour to go live, you know. No big deal.
It's
still not completely positive we're live, but we're gonna ride
I still haven't seen
anyway.
you pop up, so
And, you know, there's usually a delay, so I'm not too worried about it.
I'm
not that delay.
I'm not either. So
OBS is telling me we're live, so I gotta trust it.
So this is our first live stream podcast. So if you're listening, it's Wednesday for you. This will come out tomorrow on Spotify and iTunes. It'll be Thursday. So I guess we'll jump right into it. What have you guys been up to recently?
Oh, not much at all. I know it's been a couple weeks since we've had a podcast. For those who listen, we've been a little busy. We've all been kind of running around, and you know, not much has really been going on though.
Yeah, you're working every day, so that's kind of monotonous. Joe and I have a little bit more going on with classes and all that other fun garbage that goes on with that. So, Joe, have you been up to anything fun other than classes?
That's implied that class is fun, but you know, it's whatever.
You know, I can't really say I have. We've been just, you know, now that wrestling's over, we're just kind of hanging out with the broskies every weekend, and it's going well.
So I actually have a pretty cool thing going on. I and the RIT golf team, we qualified for nationals last weekend.
Oh yeah.
So
Nice.
so we're heading out to Purdue in 2.5 weeks from now. So hopefully here and shortly we'll get some money to be able to get out there because
Say one more time. Bro.
It's about $400 per person.
Well, yeah. So I mean, you're getting all the way out to Purdue.
How much do you need for the whole thing?
To get out there with travel, it's $5,400
$5,400.
To get out there
guys.
with travel.
With 8 guys, and that's not flying. That's driving.
How does that make sense?
That's 50 cents a mile with 3 cars.
Oh, that's implying that you're getting paid to drive there. But yeah.
Well, we get reimbursed with travel, so.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's... I know that's how the club system works or whatever. Other clubs have no problem doing stuff like that. Volleyball goes to nationals every year. The last couple of years has been, like, Kansas City, Missouri, so...
Well, here's the thing. When we requested our budget at the beginning of the year, we requested, like, $5,000-ish. We got $399. So
from them?
From the club's office in general. So
and you still had no club dues or anything, so.
I mean, we did pay our club dues, so it's like.
What was the club dues?
I mean, it's $25 for recreational and $40 for competitive. So, yeah, it's a lot of money. So. We're hopefully gonna get that next week. I have to propose it to the athletic review board thing or whatever.
Well, a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it's just a presentation. So hopefully that goes all right. But
yeah, it shouldn't be too bad.
But for a first year club, it's pretty fantastic to be.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty cool. I mean, you were technically a founding. Well, we were both technically founding members. You and a couple other people were the ones who kind of really led the charge there. I think you did most of the leading, but
yeah,
there were some other people that were involved early on.
Yeah, Matt Roeder, Andrew Ballone, both were
What's that face for?
First three like e-board members, and then kind of took it from there. I'm really proud of the freshmen that we handed it off to.
Yeah,
a couple of years
people
ago.
that really didn't even know the struggle you guys went through trying to get the golf club to even be a thing, let alone a sport.
No.
So,
but they've taken it well. So
they've been picking up the slack.
They
Joe speaks.
Jack and Austin that's our president and vice president, definitely took it and ran with it and got us into both tournaments in the fall and both tournaments in the spring. And Jack and I are trying to lead the charge to get the money to go to nationals.
Would you say you and Jack and Jill went up the hill?
To get to Purdue we go.
To get to Purdue.
We don't have Jill, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, so getting off of what we've been doing up recently, because neither Joe or I have been doing anything interesting except for playing video games. So
Playing a lot of video games.
Lots and lots of Fortnite. So moving on, we kind of have our order we go through here. So craziest news story of the week. We had a man who bought a storage unit at a typical storage unit auction. And it turned out to be Terrell Owens' storage unit that he apparently stopped paying. So he kind of, he bought it for $4,000, which is a decent amount of money for a storage unit to be bought for. But he went on there and he went and bought it, and he goes in there, and apparently he's making bank. There's a lot of Terrell Owens stuff in there, and obviously now he knows it's Terrell Owens. So,
I mean, here's what's crazy to me. If you're T.O., why are you just not paying it? I mean, a storage unit is what? Maybe $30 a month? Maybe? And okay, maybe he's got the big one, so let's even give him $100 a month.
I mean, they bought it out for $4,000. That's a lot of money, but yeah.
Maybe he just forgot about it. Like, think about how much he's paying for. Maybe it just slipped through the cracks.
But it should be set on like auto pay for something
you'd
like
think,
that.
But obviously it's not. So maybe he, T.O.'s got a lot of money, so maybe he moved and stopped getting the mail, or maybe he stopped using one of his emails he was given so he could pay. Who knows? Maybe he had it set up on a freaking credit card for all I know, and he's got a new credit card. I mean, the dude's got a lot of money. There's no reason why he wasn't paying $100. That's a lot of important stuff that was, the stuff that was in there. There was playbooks, like old playbooks that he had, cleats, autographed helmets, all this sort of stuff, like jerseys and everything was in there. A lot of stuff that that he probably got from players. They were handed at the end of games, stuff like that. Maybe stuff he bought too. So there's just in jerseys and helmets and stuff that are autographed. The guy's probably gonna be making tens of thousands of dollars easily.
Oh, absolutely. So making bank is not an exaggeration. He's definitely going to rake it in, but that's bad for T.O. It's not a good look for him. But I'm kind of surprised that he's usually like one of the more vocal guys on Twitter, it seems like, and he hasn't said anything.
He hasn't said anything about this, and maybe it's because he's trying to save face. Maybe he realizes that he was an idiot and had no idea. Because they send out a lot of warnings and stuff like this, but I don't think he obviously had no idea. Or maybe it's really not his, and someone stole a lot of stuff from him and then just ended up kind of, who knows.
Yeah, I have no idea. So, do we have any NFL news?
It's still NFL offseason, so there's still a lot going on. Russell Wilson's kind of the biggest thing right now. Is he's been trying to get a new deal from the Seahawks, a new restructured deal, and he gave them a deadline finally, which is April 15th, which is before the deadline they have for other things, as far as like when they're in the offseason, they're not allowed to extend contracts and stuff like that. But so he's wants his money, which deservedly so. And do you guys think he's gonna get extended? Do you think they're gonna give him his new deal? If so, like where in the hierarchy of quarterback pay right now, because it's getting ridiculous, where do you guys think he's gonna be?
I think they're definitely gonna extend him. I think he's still a good quarterback. I mean, the Seahawks haven't done too hot in the last couple of years, but Russell Wilson still, I think he was like one of the top quarterbacks in fantasy 2 years ago.
Again, he always is because of his legs too.
Exactly. He always puts up numbers, and he's pretty consistent. So I think he'll get extended, and I think Russell Wilson's a top 10 quarterback, and I think it would be really surprising if they don't resign him.
He's definitely an arguably top 10 quarterback, and I think my thing about it is that, like, well, where does he fall along the top quarterbacks of pay? And I'm like, well, you look at the guys that are up there, and Matt Ryan got a big deal, Matt Stafford got a big deal, and it's like, well, I would say he's arguably a more valuable player to the Seahawks than those guys. Oh, I don't know. I mean, Matt Stafford's obviously one of the only bright spots from the Lions, so they gave him his money because I think they're kind of back paying him for his first couple deals. But
I think that money, when he got that contract, it was reliant on the fact that they still had Megatron at the time.
First year, yeah.
Yeah, and then he retired out of the blue. And
I think he retired right after that contract. But, I mean, it all happens. But, you look at like Atlanta, they're paying Matt Ryan out the ass. They're paying Julio Jones out the ass. They're probably they're probably going to have to pick between Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman this year. So it's like they're going to be having guys that are all getting way too much money in their three biggest skill positions. So you look at a team like Seattle, whose defense, they've kind of been getting rid of all the guys that made way too much money in the last few years. with Earl Thomas leaving now too, being the last part of that of the
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom. So you have Russell Wilson sitting beside who? Doug Baldwin on the offense that's making a lot of money. So yeah, I think he's gonna.
Baldwin left.
Did he leave too? I don't know.
I thought he went to the Giants.
I don't know.
Let me hit the old Google real quick.
But either way, there's a lack of people that are making tons of money.
Yeah, something like that. Somebody left.
I don't know. The offseason's been hectic this year.
Doug Baldwin is still on the Seahawks.
That's what I thought.
But I think you're thinking of Golden Tate.
Yeah.
Tate left the Lions and went to the Eagles, and now he left them and is going to the Giants. I think he's OBJ's replacement. Yes.
Right.
So yeah. Let's see, what else do we got going on?
Joe, it's going to be tough for people to join the conversation when the 3 viewers are the 3 people in this room.
I beg to differ. We got 5 right now.
Okay, there's a couple of people in there. Get your little friends in here that usually watch our streams.
Let's go, boys.
So let's see. Because we haven't had a podcast in the last couple of weeks, we kind of missed out on the news of the AAF folding. I don't know if that was too much of a surprise, really. It was kind of doomed from week 2 or week 3 when they just didn't have money.
After the first 2 weeks, they defaulted on paying all of their salaries for the players. And then someone bailed them out, which in turn equaled like $250 million for like a few weeks or something like that.
Like the majority.
He became the majority owner by bailing them out, and then it only lasted till through week 8, and everyone got to the playoffs. Through week 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
And you see a league that like there was attracting players back from Canada that have been trying over there. Trey Richardson came back. Johnny Manziel played 2 games.
It's John now.
It's not Johnny?
Yeah, he doesn't want to go
because
by
Johnny was a cokehead, so I'm sorry. So John football?
John Manziel.
Anyways, it even got guys like Johnny Manziel, John Manziel, to come back from Canada and start to play. And now, actually, it obviously was working for what they wanted. Because Johnny Manziel has been supposedly a name tosser on the league because of the lack of skill at quarterback that's coming up in this draft, coming up out of the last couple of years of the draft, that teams are actually thinking about giving him a tryout again because he came back.
He did get lit up, though. I mean,
he had a concussion in his last play.
Yeah, right? He didn't. He can't play like that in the NFL, but he would still get killed. But
we're going to see what ends up happening with him.
Here's a quick thing, though, with the quarterback situation, though. Now that Colin Kaepernick has had his thing settled, is his name going to pop up anymore? Because now you can't say, now when somebody needs a quarterback, now it's not going to be like, oh, well, they're not going to pick Colin Kaepernick, so add that to his collusion case. His case is over. It's done.
Well, yes, and I think the funny thing about the Colin Kaepernick case is it didn't like fully release how much money it was, but everyone was like, it's way less than everyone thought it was. Because everyone was thinking it was going to be 80 to 100 million for him and Ed Reed, because they both kind of got shafted the last couple. They basically got shafted out of 3 seasons in the NFL. So between the two of them, they really should have gotten close to that, because think about it, Colin Kaepernick as a starting quarterback would have been off his rookie deal. He should have been making around $20 million if he was a starting quarterback.
Right.
Yeah, but
if he was a starting quarterback.
And that's
so you're saying in 3 years he should have made $60 million. So in the court case, that's what they were kind of asking for, like $100 million.
But that's insinuating that he's going to play well too. I mean, we saw him for
it doesn't matter.
7 games.
He would have had a contract.
Yeah, but he played for 7 games. So you can't gauge somebody's contract worth on a veteran deal off of 7 games and a rookie deal that a year that they went to the playoffs. It happens every year. We're seeing it. Yeah. We're seeing it with Lamar Jackson. He did fantastic, and we saw it with RG3. And I've said it over and over again. These quarterbacks do well in their running because that's a different style offense for that team that's been scouted. And then all of a sudden in their second year, RG3 blows out his knee. Colin Kaepernick can't throw the ball anymore and gets benched. Who knows what's going to happen to Lamar Jackson this year? I mean, I just don't think... I still don't think he's a great quarterback. I honestly think he's terrible, but...
Who?
Colin Kaepernick.
Kaepernick? Well, I mean, it's an argument that no one's ever really going to win. So, but as far as the case goes, it sounds like they got more like less than 10. I think I heard 8 thrown around, and so let's say it was $8 million for both of them. I mean, they're talking that's pathetic. That's less than he would have made, say, on the bench for the 49ers if this all didn't happen. So it's kind of funny in the NFL. I don't know why they would have accepted that. Who knows what was going on?
Did they come out with a number, or is it
No, it's still speculation. But someone close to it said that it was less than 10.
Yeah, I remember.
Because everyone thought it was going to be 80.
Something like that. I know it wasn't a lot. I mean, under 10 sounds about right.
During it, everyone was saying they were going to basically get the bag. And then afterwards, they were like, well, they still came out with a bag, but it wasn't a large bag. All right, moving on. One more piece of NFL news before we move on. What is going on with Aaron Rodgers? Now, starting though, so people came. There was a Bleacher Report interview session that came out basically with Greg Jennings, a couple other guys that have been on the team in the past. No one recent, no one in like the last couple 3 years, but Aaron Rodgers has been said that he has. It's been said that he isn't a great teammate, and that if he doesn't really like you, then you're going to be an enemy on him. So now it's caused this kind of rift with the current Packers organization. And so what do you guys think is really going on? Do you think it's all just kind of past stuff that got dragged up again, or what do you think?
I don't
know how you'd say that.
I think it's 100% true. I think Aaron Rodgers is as great of a quarterback as he is. I think he's a terrible person and a terrible teammate.
Well, I don't see. I think that like so one of the main guys, like their biggest name they quoted was Greg Jennings. So when he was there, you know who was on the other side of him? Was James Jones, who was destroying everybody because he was his favorite target. He was getting the ball most of the time. Jordy Nelson showed up also. He was also there, and he, you know how much of a favorite target he was. It's like you look at who was there, and it's like, okay, so is this just like an AB situation where he cried because Juju was getting the ball more, or is this a real thing where he was causing a rift in the middle of the team because if he didn't like you and he was mean to you, then he wasn't going to throw you the damn ball. Do you know what I mean?
And he's also the same guy that's telling people, like even fans, just relax, we're going to be fine. Like, shut up and play your game. Like, just play your game. And I think that same attitude that he has on his podcast or radio show or whatever is the same that carries over to the locker room with the teammates.
Yeah, I mean, but are you going to believe everything that comes out of Bleacher Report's mouth?
Oh, absolutely
as well?
not. No.
But you know, at the same time, it's like, okay, so what's really happening here? Mike McCarthy was also quoted in the interview. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but basically it just makes me wonder that if the Bleacher Report really just do this whole thing as a Mike McCarthy, like, hey, look, it wasn't all him. Aaron Rodgers is a dick, and it's not really his fault that it didn't work out. And Aaron Rodgers has really came out. The Packers organization did come out that Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy did not like each other the last couple of years, and that is one of the reasons why Mike McCarthy got fired.
Yeah, but what is Rodgers going to say? Oh yeah, you're right. I'm not a good teammate, and I'm horrible.
It came down to the Packers had to fire one of them because they wasn't working the last 2 years.
He's arguably the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, so you're going to either fire Rodgers, who could be the best quarterback currently in the league, like meaning skill level right now. You know, like this last couple of years.
Also, a lot of stuff
or
came
you're
out
firing
about
a
his
coach
family, too.
who brought you to the Super Bowl.
You remember when all that stuff came out about his family
Well,
too?
that
Saying
was-
that he
Well,
doesn't talk to anybody.
Yeah, but I've heard two sides of that story too. The Aaron Rodgers side is that his family wanted money and wanted all this stuff, and he said, "Fuck you guys. You guys are like my girlfriend currently." When he was dating Olivia Wilde or whatever. Olivia Munn. Olivia Wilde is dating
Olivia
someone else. But Olivia Munn, and they all hated her, so then all this stuff came out. But so then he was painted as the bad guy in that situation because he doesn't like his family and he's rich and they're not, and he doesn't care. But it was all because of discrepancies with them kind of wanting the money and also that they hated his girlfriend. So who knows?
They love Danica now though.
Yeah, but he's like trying to repair the relationship, but like how do you repair a relationship that you haven't really barely talked to him in 5 years? Even though whatever.
All right, we'll move on from the NFL.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be fine though.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? I mean, as long as he's still performing out on the football field and he's back to 100% health this year, he's still going to be one of the first quarterbacks taken in fantasy football, and people are still going to root for him, so it's not going to matter.
We'll see. He breaks his collarbone a lot.
That he's not Tony Romo.
We'll see.
We'll switch over to college basketball. Did you guys watch the championship game on Monday?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. Did you?
I watched part of it.
Did you watch the end of it?
That was part of the part I watched. I didn't watch overtime because it was 11:30 at night or fucking some shit like that.
Wait, how do you not watch?
Let's talk about that for a second. They made the game on a Monday night at 9:20 at night.
Dude, it's the same thing as
but
it doesn't matter. It's always that late. And then the college football game, the college football playoffs is always on a Saturday, but then the finals is always on a goddamn Monday at 9:00 at night
because they don't. School the next day?
No, but they don't.
No, they don't go to class.
Yeah, that implies they go to school.
The student athlete thing is.
They're athletes first, but they.
According to the NCAA.
Dude, they haven't. Dude, these Virginia guys haven't been in class since before March started.
Anybody in this tournament has not been in class.
Yeah, but they all go back after they lose.
Okay.
But you know what I mean. But like Virginia, like literally, and now they're doing all their tours. They have to, they have the parade, and then they get to go. They get to go get
Disney
Wendy's
World.
and McDonald's from Trump, and then they got to go up all the things they got to do. Yeah.
But I digress.
Well, we can talk about that later if you want. But
maybe we'll do that
because that just kind of blew up on Twitter again.
It did blow up on Twitter again.
But yeah, so I watched up until the end of the game, regular time, and then it was like 11:30 at night, and I get up at 6:00 in the morning to go to work, so I went to sleep.
Yeah, but how do you not watch overtime in a championship game?
Virginia blew them out in overtime. Who cares?
Yeah, it was 11-0 run, and I think at least 7 of them were free throws. They made all of their free throws in overtime. It was kind of a joke, but I'm happy with the outcome. I real quick, I won the Stuck on Sports tournament.
Yeah, thank you guys all for kind of showing up and doing brackets. We actually had like 20 or 30 brackets in there. We only did 2 apiece, so that's pretty good.
Nice.
I mean, Kyle had 3 because we had the one live one we did as well. But
that
one actually did do okay.
Kyle had 3 brackets in there?
That does not
Why
count.
am I not surprised? There's some.
We each had 2.5.
Wait, but my first bracket won.
Hold on,
his first bracket won. My first bracket came in second. So, sorry that we beat all you guys, but thanks for coming out and playing. Sorry, but I guess we don't have to buy any guys merch.
Yeah, I do have to say, every day I went into school.
I don't know how you would collude on the bracket championship.
Yeah, you can't exactly conclude.
Coming from the winner.
I do have to say there was a lot of good attention paid to it, and you guys, we had fun with it for sure. I had a bunch of people texting me, "Hey, look who's number 1 again!" when the day was over. So hopefully we can do that again for something else coming up soon.
Yeah, we definitely should. But let's just talk about Virginia for a second. So let's just talk about the seniors on their roster who have seen them be the number 1 team in the nation at some point during the last 3 seasons.
Yep.
They didn't really do too much 2 years ago, and last year they were the first number 1 seed ever to lose to a 16 seed
in basketball.
And in basketball, but that doesn't even matter because they were actually the number 1 overall seed last year and lost to the number 64 seed.
8. Technically 8.
Yeah, because that 16 seed did get in.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of the playing games, so we'll call it the number 68 seed if you want.
Yeah.
That is the first time and probably the only time that we're going to see it in our lifetime.
It's the only time it should happen. It really, I mean.
But, so those seniors, after going through what they went through the last couple of years of heartbreak, came out and fucking did it, And
I'm happy.
And like, as much as we're Syracuse fans, I'm not really sure what Joe is, but Kyle and I are Syracuse fans, so seeing an ACC team win is cool. Seeing an ACC team that's not Duke is even better.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So, but I mean, ACC was very heavy this season, as far as everything went.
So, what do you guys think is the biggest upset? I'll narrow it down to Auburn and Kentucky, or was it Duke losing to Michigan?
Auburn beating Kentucky, for sure.
Kentucky was a great team this year, and Auburn outclassed them the entire game. But I think the way Duke lost by 1 point to not make it to even the Final Four, when in the grand scheme of things, having 1 overall seed having 1 number 1 overall seed in the Final Four this year, no one thought it would be Virginia. Because North Carolina and Duke have been outstanding all year. Right. And Gonzaga was playing some great ball even during the tournament until they lost. So it's to Auburn as well. But watching the tournament.
Texas Tech.
No, yeah, that was the Texas Tech game. But they it's just like looking at it, is like we didn't think Virginia was going to be the number one overall seed, especially because of last year's showing in the tournament. We're like, well, they're not going to freaking be the one that makes it as the last remaining.
Right.
But the fact that they went on and won, I mean, they definitely proved us all wrong.
Auburn beat UNC too. I mean,
no, Auburn didn't mess around.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you how excited I was when Duke lost.
Oh,
to not
obviously.
have to see any media about, oh my God, CBS is going to have the Zion cam. It's going to be great. No.
See, that's why I root for Duke. I mean, here's why. Getting back to the hypocrisy of the NCAA, I feel bad for their athletes. And I only say that because they're giving up millions of dollars to play in college anyway. I mean, there's no doubt a guy like Zion Williams, he's a first-round draft pick out of high school. He's a LeBron James type athlete. But no, he has to waste a year in college, risk injury, give up all that money that he can make as a professional NBA player. But no, he's got to go play for Duke. He's got to enter this stupid tournament. He already got hurt this season.
Well,
the whole nation saw it.
Yeah, I think it's a better question to ask you than stemming from that. Is that what sports do you think that should be allowed to go straight from high school? I mean, basketball is one where if your body's kind of already built and ready to play NBA. Basketball is like if you're elite in high school,
right.
in basketball, your body is already 100% matured because you have to be. Zion Williamson was 285 coming out of high school. Dude. That's a big human being.
Now, as far as fully matured, nobody who's 18 years old is fully matured. But there's certain sports where it doesn't matter. Football, you can't go right from high school to the NFL. You'll die.
It's a different pace of play.
It's a different pace of play.
Yeah.
It's a different game. I mean, you're getting 30 to 40-year-old grown men trying to take your head off every play.
Versus you dancing around 5'4", 140 pounders.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, in basketball, the roughest thing that can happen is you take a hard charge. But, at the end of the day, if you can make a three, you can make a three. And, Zion just happens to be this physical specimen. But he's still a boy. I mean, he's still 19, 20 years old. And when he gets into the league, I think he'll be exposed a little bit. But he's still got to go into his body. I mean, don't forget, LeBron James was a physical specimen.
Was 18 his first season in the NBA. And it took him a couple of years to show up as being in the same conversation as Kobe. You know what I mean? It took him probably 4 or 5 years.
And so, basketball, you can do it. Baseball, I think you can do it too. I mean,
I disagree.
I don't know how much success you'll have, but I'm thinking more on the lines of putting your body at risk.
Well,
football, it's a danger to put a child into a football game.
And I'll agree with physical contact. Yes, I'll agree with you.
I want to talk about football in a second, though.
There is, I talked. Shameless plug here. When I talked to Caleb, the MLB scout, if you haven't listened to that interview, go do so. But shameless plug aside, he was saying that guys are getting Tommy John surgeries at a regular rate now, and these are young guys either in college or their first year in the minors just so they can throw the ball harder. That is a serious risk to them because they're trying to make it, or they're just out of high school and they haven't gone to college and proven themselves or anything like that. I think baseball is the same way. You shouldn't be able to come right out of high school.
So you're saying that just because guys are trying to get Tommy Johns to throw further?
To throw hard they don't need.
Well, people are getting Tommy John surgery because when we were kids, we played sports year round. If we had a sport that was our passion, we played it year round. 30 years ago, the only people that played sports year round was the professional athletes that knew they were going to be professional athletes.
Right.
Because you're playing varsity sport as a freshman, and you're like, okay, well, I got to have a pitch coach because I need to practice. I'm going to have a throwing coach. I'm going to be throwing year round because I'm going to be a professional athlete.
Right.
But it's like, but nowadays it's like, even speaking from my perspective, I was playing soccer 11 months a year, and I didn't go anywhere with it. But my knees are shot. My back is shot. And I'm 22 years old, and sometimes if it's cold out, it hurts when I get out of the fucking bed in the morning.
No.
And I'm sure you're the same way wrestling as much as you have. I'm sure your back is fine.
I don't know if Connor's listening right now. He could talk about this too, but we wrestle all year round. Now, Kyle, I have a question for you. Do you think it makes a difference whether you're throwing the ball from right field in college or throwing the ball from right field in the minors? Because I really don't think there's a big difference there.
No, but there's this innate thing going from just high school to saying, okay, I just got out of high school, I'm going to the minors. Because a bunch of guys get drafted in the 30th round or whatever to go
they
right
get drafted
to the
late. I know a lot of guys that get drafted late right out of high school.
But
I know
they're trying. Now they've not only got to catch up to guys that have been in college to show off for 4 years. They're trying to throw harder, run faster, pitch harder, whatever. I don't think it's the same. I think they're trying to push their limits more than somebody that has the training staff in college. I mean,
I disagree. I think if you're a lower level athlete in college, I mean, you could make that argument for literally any sport that a lower level guy is going to maybe push themselves harder to compete with guys that are better than them. And that could be lower guys in college trying to compete with the top guys, or it could be guys that just broke into the minors that are trying to go up to the majors.
But when you graduate high school, you're 17 years old, 18 at the highest. You're not ready to go play in the majors either.
I think there's a difference between can you and should you. So if you're asking me, should you be allowed? It's a free country.
But the question is, if you're holding baseball to a higher standard right now, I think is what I'm thinking.
But I'm saying there's no direct, like, you playing, if we just dropped you in right field, you're not putting your body at risk directly. Whereas if I dropped you as a safety in the middle of a football field, you're going to die. You're going to get killed. I think if you just happen to be that stellar athlete at baseball that's good enough to play in the majors, you should be allowed.
Because, like, football, I mean, you're getting a guy who's 18 who needs to be in the gym every day, needs to be working with top-class physicians and top-class trainers and all this stuff because they need to grow their body and what they want. They need to grow up too. But I think the question is, like, you're holding baseball to a little bit higher standard because, like, you look, we played soccer growing up. There is 16-year-olds around this world that are playing professional sports, making millions of dollars a year. When we were 16, you know who else was 16? Raheem Sterling. You know what he was doing? He was starting for Liverpool.
I'll even.
So I just that guy wasn't even his full height yet, and it was starting for a professional.
Remember Joseph Adai?
Football team.
Remember Joseph Adai?
Yeah.
He was 14 when he was playing for DC United.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, football is the only sport where I'm trying to think about it. It's the only sport that I can really say, like, you should not be allowed to play unless you're 20 years old or 19 or whatever.
I mean,
you need to have the time working with a real trainer because I'm just
let's think about
I'm just thinking like as far as different stuff goes because I think our country does stuff differently though.
Matt,
so
let's think about, does a year make a difference?
A couple of years does, and I think
football is 2.
Football is 2. So like Juju Smith-Schuster was 19 when he got drafted, because he graduated at 17. Because his birthday was in the fall, so he actually turned 20 years old in his first season in the NFL. Which is nuts, by the way. He couldn't legally drink.
Yeah, I remember that.
Let me put this in here, though. When we talk about football, we're talking about the NFL. Because there's no minor leagues in there.
No, but you could go to Canada and play and all this other BS.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We're talking about MLB, NHL, NBA, and MLS. The 4 other professional leagues.
Yes.
If you put a high schooler in any of those leagues, they're going to get killed no matter what. Maybe not physically, but mentally they're going to get run down.
We can talk about
physically,
that.
arm strength.
Hockey's another one.
Hockey's weird too because like Eichel played 1 season and was still 18 when he started for the Sabres. Or he might have been 19 at that
point.
It's
tough to do that because, I mean, think about it. There's always going to be an exception to the rule.
Yes, but I think hockey is the only... Hockey is like, out of the big 4, we'll take out soccer because it's not one of the most popular sports here in the U.S. But, like, the top 4, hockey is the only one that doesn't have a college requirement.
Right.
And
baseball doesn't either.
Baseball doesn't technically, but in the major, you don't see 18-year-olds in the majors.
No.
Maybe there's a lot in the minors, but there's not any really in the majors.
No.
But, football's got a 2-year, which I think is deserved. Basketball has a 1.
Football's 3, isn't it? You can't leave until after your junior year.
You can leave after. That's what I'm trying to say. Juju wasn't even. I think he was only in 2 years.
You know what's interesting? I'm reading the player eligibility rules, and it says a player must have been out of high school for at least 3 years and must have used up all their college eligibility. Obviously, there is a exception that underclassmen and players who have graduated before using all their college eligibility may request the league's approval to enter the draft early.
So that's what it is. It's all about league approval.
Right. So technically, if you're going by the book without league approval, you need to be out of high school for 3 years and use up all your college eligibility.
Which
for,
is why
for the NFL.
Which is why guys go overseas.
So maybe which is like a guy. Well, that's why you see 18-year-olds coming from overseas, because a guy like Kristaps Porzingis.
Are we talking
Now,
about
this is just NFL.
That's
no,
NFL.
I know, but I'm just saying,
NFL
like,
draft.
even like NBA, like, you're still required a year of college, or you can play a year pro in Europe.
Right.
like Luka Doncic is like what?
Yeah,
He's
they're-
19 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and there's a few other ones. Like Kristaps was like he played a year when he was 17 years old in Lithuania, and then came over, and then was a top 4 draft pick or whatever he was. Like, you just look at like different stuff like that. But
I just think, I guess circling back to what we were talking about, I don't even remember. What
we kind of went off on a tangent.
we did go off on a tangent, but I think the NCAA is a fraud. And I think
We said we wanted to talk
the
about
point,
that.
The
We
point
wanted to
of
talk about that an hour later.
The point of my the point that I was getting to is that the NCAA holding Zion Williams hostage, basically in college for a year, is a shame. And it's
That's actually what started. It was Zion,
and that's, I guess, what we're getting.
And so, do you want to touch on what about NCAA real quick, about what just kind of came out right now? Or do you want to wait till then?
Which
I saw you were tweeting at it as well, and
Yeah,
it's just like
so-
little stuff, and
Right.
and this stemmed from a wrestler.
So
right?
so this wrestler, I forget who posted the original post, but basically
I think Ben
how it
Askren
works is
was
there.
on it too.
Ben Askren started off.
Yeah.
So basically, wrestlers who are really a lot of the D1 wrestlers, especially the elite guys, they hold camps.
Mm-hmm.
Once they've graduated, they hold camps, and they charge to be there, and they make money from it.
Yep.
Long story short, the NCAA does not allow a D1 wrestler to profit off of a camp, because obviously you can't profit off of your sport, you can't profit off of your name, all that BS.
Oh.
So basically, Ben Askren called that out, and Bo Nickel, who was a 3-time national champ, Hodge Place winner, which is the Heisman Trophy in wrestling, basically, confirmed that, saying, this is a shame that guys can't make money off of themselves. And his biggest biggest thing was that, like, this is America. The American dream is making money off your own image, and the NCAA takes that away from you.
Yeah. So I think to go off the making money off your own image, and I know this is a slippery slope. 100% it is, because I read a lot of the comments and people made a lot of fair points. We'll get to that in a second. But the thing is that a school can throw a camp. Let's just say, like, RIT, for example, because that's where we will.
Sure.
RIT could throw a wrestling camp for high schoolers.
They do.
You know what they're gonna say is that, oh, Joe Coutinho went to, is going to be here. He went to, he was almost an All-American for us this year.
Right.
Like, he's going to go say that.
He was
like,
a scholar All-American. Can we say that?
Okay,
He
that's,
was a scholar.
scholar.
It's funny
No,
to say,
but-
because my coach does that.
Yeah, but like they're going to go out and they're going to say Dempsey was there.
Right.
He's an All-American wrestler
They're
who
gonna advertise
lost
you.
in the finals,
Right.
and he is going to be here to help these high school wrestlers out, and it's going to be amazing.
Right.
And to that is RIT is going to get money. And let's just say they're charging $100-something a person.
Right.
They're going to get all those people coming in on the daily, because you know who they have? They have All-American wrestlers.
Right.
And I know we're using wrestling as an example, but
I
it
mean,
happens with
it's-
soccer camps
well,
all the time.
Don't even call it camps. It's what do any basketball team do? We
Yeah.
got Zion Williams here. Come watch him play.
Exactly.
I mean, wrestling is specific because camps is how people make money in the off season, and there is no professional.
And there's barely
kind
really.
of
I mean,
professional,
they're
but
sort
unless you're the best, literally making the world team, you're not
doing
wrestling
doing the grapple thing that they're doing right now. I just
grapple
saw
in the
some-
garden.
Yeah, I
Or
just saw
no, it's
that.
Beat the Streets.
Yeah, but it's
So that stemmed from
but
Ben
that-
Askren and Jordan Burroughs are wrestling
Yeah.
at Beat the Streets.
But they, but like that's really like the points they're making is like, okay, but like if you say, okay, we're not gonna pay, let's throw the idea out of a stipend
Right.
for players playing Division 1, Division 2, or Division 3. Let's throw that idea out. Let's not joke around and try to say that the scholarships they get give them money, because they
Right.
don't. Because
It's-
in reality, especially D1
it's
football
not
players,
equal
D1
payment.
basketball players, they're not at college for college.
Right.
Like the guys who are going to the league, like they're only there for one reason.
They're
It's
literally
because they're
there
trying to
to-
go pro.
Check the box.
Yeah, they're there checking their boxes, exactly.
Right. And I think I don't. My problem is the money they give up is more than what they get in return.
Yeah, so the one thing I saw was like, okay, well, let's say this. You can make money off your image. If someone wants your autograph, so be it. You know what? If they want to pay you for your autograph, accept it. If they want you to come to an event because they're holding a charity dinner and they want to be able to say that Zion Williamson's there,
right?
Let them write you a check for whatever they feel necessary. But then someone replied immediately, it was like, these colleges have boosters. They already are kind of a little weird about that as far as giving people's, moms jobs, helping them find houses that are cheaper than they should be.
And they all have booster clubs, which the money goes to.
So basically what they're saying is like a place like, let's say Michigan, because I'm thinking about Tom Brady in my head because I'm in a freaking room covered in Patriot stuff. But you're on a Patriots thing.
There's two Patriots things in here.
But a place like Michigan, Tom Brady is an alum. He makes millions of dollars. His wife has millions of dollars.
Right.
I'm sure he's technically part of the Michigan Booster Program. I'm sure he's somehow involved in Michigan.
Of course he is.
So let's just say he found a 5-star recruit that they want there, and he could say, well, I'm going to basically invite you to a bunch of stuff that I'm holding, and I'm going to give you a lot of money. You know what I mean? Because you're profiting off your... But a booster give you money, millions of dollars who knows if that was agreed upon before he went there. Is basically the thing, because you don't want it to turn into who's richer.
Right, and it's a slippery slope. And again, paying athletes, I'm not gonna lie, that's tough. It's very hard to do because then you get into the argument where a kid like me, who's a D3 wrestler bringing in $0, should I be getting paid the same amount as Zion Williams? Obviously not. But I think again, you should be able to profit off of your own image, and there. I think it's screwed up.
No, I completely agree with that. As far as even technically speaking, you are not allowed, when you were an athlete, you weren't really allowed to coach, even. I know it's a thin line there.
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that.
I know that.
I really don't.
To be a coach, like a high school coach, while also being a full-time, also being a student athlete, there's a thin line because technically you got the job. You can't.
Let's wait a month to do this podcast.
No, I'm not saying anything about anyone here. No, I'm not saying anything about anyone here. What I'm saying is that a person can technically get a job because of their stature.
Right.
If they're a collegiate sport, like I was a collegiate athlete for track. Let's say my track coach came to me after my freshman year and was like, dude, we really want you just to help out in the spring if you can. I know your season ends the beginning of May because nationals is the first weekend in May for us. No, ours. I'm a track athlete. So it was the first week in May is nationals. He's like, after that, we have a month left for our season. You can come help out. We'll give you a little bit of money just to make it worth your while and all this stuff. I couldn't have. This is actually real. I was like, I can't accept money. I did go there a couple times, but it's I don't think I can accept money because the reason why you want me there is not because I'm an alum of the program. It's because I'm an alum who's in college. Right. Running for their sport.
Yeah, and I mean, Bo Nickel is a perfect example. He just graduated, which is probably why he's speaking up now, but because he's a 3-time national champion. He wrestles for the best team in the country. He is there, he's the best wrestler on the best team in the country. He could, you know how much money he could have made doing camps over the last 4 years?
Oh, exactly. After his first national championship.
After starting at Penn State, he made it, so I should say, he lost in the finals when he was a freshman to, I believe it was Gabe Dean, who is another 3-time national, beast. So, hey, I wrestle for the best team in the country. I made it to the finals in my first year. People will throw money at him to get him at camp.
To get him to come
throw money at him. But no, he has to wait 4 years. Just happens to win 2 more national. Well, freshman year he lost, so 3 more national titles plus a Hodge Trophy, which is a really big effing deal. And he can only now that he's graduated, now he can start profiting off it.
Yeah, and I think a place like Penn State with a great wrestling program is throwing camps. I went to a Penn State soccer camp.
The Iron Wrestling Club.
And they're not even that great at soccer. But I went to a Penn State soccer camp, and guess who was all there? They're Penn State soccer players. They all ran the camp.
Right. So my coach has,
I think there was 6 of them there. Right. But they're all starters.
My coach runs his Apex Wrestling Club every offseason. Gets a ton of guys there. We're all there. All the athletes are there.
Yep.
And, we're not on the same level as Penn State, but there's a difference wrestling a college kid or wrestling a high school kid and then wrestling a college kid.
Exactly.
And, word it how you want. Parents pay for their kid to wrestle college.
We're gonna get off
wait,
NCAA for a little bit, unless you got something else.
I think we should do a whole podcast.
I would like to actually bring some points. We should do an NCAA podcast because I was only athlete for a year. He was for 4, and you've seen it off the outside. You probably consume the most.
Now that I'm about to graduate, maybe we'll wait till I get the diploma in hand. But we should do a big podcast.
I would like to do it.
I have a lot to say.
I could go hours,
dude.
Last quick thing.
We'll do it live.
Last thing about Zion. Last thing about NCAA. Michael Aventi, everybody knows in the political world everything about him.
Zippy Calkins.
What's up, Connor?
Hey, Connor. But he says that Nike paid Zion's mother for bogus services while he was at Duke. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really surprise me after he blew his shoe out and all of a sudden he had custom shoes.
Yes, but you could also say that Nike pretty much sent him a pair of shoes, which is Nike is the sponsor for Duke, so it is completely legal for them to make him a shoe. But they made him a custom shoe built for 285 giant men.
And that's fine, though. There's nothing wrong with that.
But there's nothing wrong with that. That's completely okay because in the terms for Nike and Duke, they have it written down, which the NCAA approves like all those stupid brand deals. But they can, if they need to, they'll make a shoe specifically for a person because they supply all athletes with shoes under their contract.
It's the same thing as hockey.
Oklahoma wrestling has custom inflicts. I'm pretty sure they're inflicts, which are super dope, and I can't get them because they're custom.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the same thing as hockey. I mean, Bauer and skates and sticks.
Basically what I'm saying though is that they were allowed to give him that, but by them giving them a custom pair of cleats, who do you think that he's going to sign with the minute he gets drafted? He's probably going to end up signing with Nike, although he might not now. But they were trying to repair. They tried to repair that relationship by giving him a pair of shoes that he might not break out.
Yeah, I think it definitely might influence his decision what he wore when he was playing at such a high level. But maybe
it begs the question.
Yeah.
As far as scummy little backhand deals, who knows? But everything's really speculation. The NCAA comes out with a hammer these days. So.
All right, so we're gonna move on to what I care about, and with these guys. Now these guys are gonna be quiet instead of me being quiet over here. We're gonna move on to the MLB for a little bit. Because,
so basketball.
So actually, you gotta follow the show notes. Golf is after this. So.
I'm gonna take a nap. Wake me up when you're done.
The Yankees and Red Sox were about 11, 12 games into the season, and both teams are absolutely terrible at the moment. Hovering right around 500, not good. Not good for
this part of the season though. 500 is okay.
Yeah, well, the Red Sox were 17 and 2.
It started like 2 weeks ago, so they're about 12 games then.
Yeah, but the Red Sox the Red Sox were 17 and 2 last season through their first 19 games. Yeah, but so they were hot last year.
See where they ended up though.
Yeah, well, they won the World Series. So,
who knows?
The Yankees have 8 players on the... Oh, sorry. I can't say DL anymore. I have to say IL because disabled list is
Disabled's a bad word. We're politically correct on this.
This is a PC podcast.
This is a PC podcast, but we totally don't fucking swear.
I'm going to change the name to PC podcast.
Just a couple of guys. Andujar, Sabathia, Severino, and Stanton. All huge all-star names on the IL.
Joe, how many of those names did you know?
No, a lot of them are Yankees, so I actually do know those. CC's on the
all those
kinda. CC's coming back on Saturday for his first start of the year. He got suspended and then he got hurt, so that was good. But hopefully the Yankees will get back some of their players. But I want to touch on Bryce because we had a podcast right after he signed his deal for $330 million for 13 years.
Bryce Harper's
12 years.
Rushing.
Something like that.
He has been lighting it up.
Yeah. So what's up with his walk-up song? I heard he changed it
to Flower.
Yeah.
I don't really understand why Philly likes that song so much.
But like it's making Philly like crazy.
As our relative Philly rep, I cannot answer that question.
Yeah, I don't really.
But I know all my friends
he changed it.
Astonished about Bryce Harper.
Like this is. I mean, I guess you understand that he changed his walk-up song when he went to a new team, but I just found it interesting.
Yo, chat. Why did Bryce Harper walk up to Flower?
I just know that like it was like a big deal that he changed it.
Yeah. But the other night, in their like first series, he hit a home run against the Nationals.
Yeah, he did.
And then 2 nights ago or last night, so it'll be 2 nights when this comes out on Spotify. He hit a massive 3-run home run off Steven Strasburg, which I was so happy about. Little quick sidetrack, quick little story. I saw Steven Strasburg in Syracuse when it was still the Syracuse Chiefs. They're the Nationals farm team there.
You can't say that anymore.
No, it's the Syracuse Mets now.
Can't be
It's
the
in
Chiefs.
Tebow.
Can't be the Chiefs.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I
Well,
put
they were the
bat
Scotch-
signal out to my Philly group chat, so we should be hearing it back pretty soon.
But
Stay tuned.
But I saw it was like the last night that Steven Strasburg was going to be in Syracuse because everybody knew he was going to get called up and everything like that.
Well, he's freaking
And
good. So.
there were 3 little kids that ran down. I was sitting right next to the Chiefs dugout, and there were 3 little kids that wanted to just get Steven Strasburg's autograph. They yelled multiple times, "Steven Strasburg something." Not one time did he even look over at those little kids. So I lost every little bit of respect.
But at that
I
point,
had.
he was probably, a lot of people see minor leagues and stuff like that as like, it was a part of my life I had to go through. It was a building experience, so they probably loved their last game. He was probably so freaking sick of it right there. He was like, I just want my money.
Yeah, but at the same time, like
money.
build your fan base in a league that's built around fans.
Yes.
Like, you didn't gain a fan. I've told this story to a ton of people. Like, I hate him for the rest of his career now. He needs to.
But here you are still talking about him.
Sure, he's gonna get the press.
Remember, people that are hated get sometimes more publicity than the people that are loved.
Yeah, I guess.
Look at AB is one of the most controversial topics in the NFL right now, but he's the only one that everyone freaking talks about right now.
Yeah.
Because he keeps. Oh, we didn't even brought that.
We didn't even talk.
Well,
about
that's gonna be my final thought, so it's fine.
And then last thing, there was a big benches clearing ball. Did you guys see it on social media at all?
I heard about it. I didn't
The fight?
actually see
Yeah.
it, though.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I hate how that's how baseball works. Is that he was the one that got thrown out of all that.
Well, there was multiple guys that got thrown out, but he's just a hothead, so he's the biggest. He's also the biggest name too, so that's gonna happen. But
So he was the resident hothead in the brawl, so he got the one tossed.
yeah, pretty much. And the pitcher Chris Archer got thrown out.
He threw a ball on someone's head.
Yeah, as the guy. Well, no, behind his back. He deserved it.
He aimed for the earpiece.
No, he didn't.
That's what everyone's saying, man. I'm just telling you what I hear.
He didn't.
He aimed for the earpiece. He was trying to give him a concussion.
He threw it behind his back, but don't stand in the box after you hit a home run. Hit a home run, drop your bat, and run to first base.
He was doing a serious stare down, and that's what the problem was.
He stood in the box.
He was very
for
cocky.
5
He deserved
seconds.
every second of it. I'm not saying the pitcher didn't. That wasn't a deserved throw.
Yeah, absolutely. There's times.
I wish he beamed it right at him.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
he can hit him.
Yeah.
I mean, they hit a strike box, which is the size of someone's chest. He definitely nail him right in the chest if you wanted to. But I don't know. He definitely. I don't know. People are saying that he aimed for the head, and that's why it kind of.
Chris Archer got suspended for 5 games, but in
Pitchers don't normally lose their
So
cool
like
too.
3 days.
pitchers it's 1 start. He gets suspended for 1 start.
because they only start every 5 games. Only every 3 or 4 or whatever.
5 games. Every 5 games.
Is that how big the bullpen is these days?
A 5-man rotation, yeah. So that's kind of it for baseball. We'll move on because I know you guys.
Okay, so
and we will be
another
starting
kind of
a
slow
baseball
topic,
thing.
but I mean, we play golf, so we like it.
Yeah, I know we got some guys listening that are looking forward to the Masters. So
Hold on, we gotta talk really quietly like this because we gotta get ready for Jim Nance. Get around the mic.
It's ASMR. It's Masters Week.
So here we go. Masters Week, first Masters of the year.
Did that sound cool through the headphones?
yes, it did.
Joe said it sounded good.
All right.
It's Masters
Back up from the mic.
Can I get a golf clap for the record? Oh, that's way too loud. That's way too loud.
Sorry, I'll be quiet.
You're too close to the mic.
No, that's better.
All right, so.
But really, though, it's Masters Week. It starts.
First
When you listen to this
official
podcast, it will be started.
Yep. So
Hopefully, you listen to it on the way, too, and you haven't missed anything yet. So it's Masters Week.
So I hopefully will get all my work done so I can watch all of the Masters coverage.
I know that I'll be in the office tomorrow, and there will be little done. And if you're my boss listening to this for some reason, just understand it's Masters Week.
Same thing with basketball and the World Cup. It's the same thing.
But
It's like a national event.
So it's Masters Week. It's arguably the biggest week for golf. Like I think the Masters is a bigger week than the actual PGA Championships, by the actual playoffs and
It's
everything.
second to the Ryder Cup.
Well, I think that's kind of a wholly different thing. This is like, I'm starting to say, like, this is for the PGA, this is the biggest thing, because that's not the PGA. That's national golf. I don't know how you consider that in
Team
golf. It's team golf. But as far as PGA goes, this is my favorite tournament. This is my favorite week. Augusta's a great place to be. I would love to get there at some point in my life.
I'm going.
Tickets are very expensive.
Yeah, it's fine. Is Tiger gonna do it this year? I think he gets hurt.
I don't think he'll get hurt, but I think this last year when Tiger played in the Masters, everyone was like, you never know, he could do it. He hadn't really played phenomenal yet, and then he did play very well the first few days. So I don't think he's gonna win, but I can understand why everyone's putting all this hype up to him. Yeah. I think he's gonna be in contention on Sunday. I think he's gonna be too far behind. But as far as as the day drags on, but because he's going to be going out first, so he'll have to, try to catch up. But I think that, Tiger will be in contention on Sunday.
I'm hoping Ricky Fowler will do it.
Ricky's my guy. He hit a hole-in-one today in the par 3 contest.
Did he?
Yeah. Do you not even see my viral tweet?
Well, are you sure that wasn't last year's?
No, it was this year's. Justin Thompson and Ricky Fowler hit back-to-back hole-in-one.
Last year.
That was this year. It literally released this morning.
Just now.
All right. Anyway, I want Ricky to win because
it doesn't matter.
I met Ricky and he's a great guy.
Did you not see my tweet that he has like 10 retweets on it on Twitter right now?
I was actually doing schoolwork all day today.
I don't believe you for a second.
He was not.
You worked earlier.
We have on Wednesdays.
I did work today too.
Yeah, you did.
I did work.
But anyway, so kind of the big thing though is that I think Jordan Spieth is kind of. He hasn't been having a great year this year, so he's not really they're not really thinking he's high up in the field, but I think he'll be okay. Obviously, he knows Augusta like the back of his hand now, so we'll see what happens.
Over under on how many balls he puts in the water on 15? No, 12.
12, yeah. Depends. Are you asking me about Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday?
All 4 days.
I think there's gonna be one. I think it's gonna be on Sunday. I think it's gonna cost him the win. He'll be in the final group with probably Justin Thomas or Ricky Fowler or something like that, and he will hit the ball in the water to go down by a stroke. Watch it.
We'll see.
He'll end up with a bogey on 12 on Sunday.
I hope he wins again. I would love to see him win again. I would love to see him
win a major again.
I would love to see him play good golf, even if it was like some random tournament at Pebble Beach or something like that. I would love to see him win again.
He's been in kind of a slump. His putter,
looks like my putter,
which was always what made him win everything, has been a little rough as of late.
Can I say that I 3-jacked at least 10 birdie putts this weekend? Yeah,
that's tough.
It was not good.
I hate when you go up for a birdie putt and then end up with a bogey when you walk away.
Yeah,
although that happens to me a lot. You know my golf game. That happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
Usually you end up with pars that way. Usually 2-jack a lot, which isn't bad because your approach game is good, but it's not like you're not getting within 3 feet.
That's not good.
All right, we're going to talk about your
by
golf.
the way,
it's Masters Week. We're talking about professionals.
By the way, that was from last year. Your tweet was from last year. Just saying.
It was all around going around today during the par 3 contest. So I don't really care if you're right or wrong.
There was only one there was only one hole in one today. So
I don't care.
Unfortunately, my least favorite of the big four sports.
Blow me off in the podcast like that.
The NBA. There's a little bit of news. Tuesday night, Magic Johnson said all of a sudden, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit."
He has survived 30 years of AIDS, and he survived 6 months of LeBron.
Yikes!
It wasn't LeBron's fault.
I'm going to leave it at that.
It's not LeBron's fault.
Really? Because he's been doing fine until LeBron showed up.
Okay, so last year when he was the guy or the president of basketball, operations, LeBron wasn't on the team, and they did even worse.
Oh, I'm not talking about the team. He left the Lakers. The Lakers did not fire him.
Oh, yeah.
He's been the president of football operations for years. and through some terrible times at the Lakers organization. So
LeBron
all I'm trying to say is that he was fine throughout losing, but he could not deal with LeBron trying to micromanage his team like they were okay with in Cleveland. Cleveland, he was picking his damn roster. Well, he was trying to pick his roster in LA, and it did not work for him, and I think it's pissing off everybody.
Yeah, but he tried to pick his roster, and it didn't work because they couldn't complete the trade.
Anthony Davis is still coming. He only going to play 6 months. And he didn't even play, right? He played like 2 games.
Yeah.
No, because he didn't get traded.
Their starting lineup, the whole team got hurt this year.
Yeah, there was also injuries.
Even Lonzo was
If you remember during Christmas time, like, the Lakers were the next best thing. Like, they were... I was looking at the NBA's rankings, like, they were top 5.
You know, the funniest thing is, though,
Warriors,
is that LeBron shut it down with like 8 games left. Or whatever. But he was...
Don't say that he was tanking because it was fine.
No, I know. But so he kind of shut it down. And the big joke of it was that he was 1 game above 500 for games he was in, and then they were like 3-17 in games he wasn't in. But they were like...
Makes sense.
Or no, it wasn't as bad as it sounds. But I think he was only 1 game above 500 for games he was in. And then all of a sudden he decided to shut it down with like 8 games left. Everyone's like, he just didn't want to be seen as a losing record for the first time ever with games he's on the court.
God forbid LeBron James doesn't make it to the finals again. Like he does every single other year.
Dude, what has it been like the last 7 years or something like that he's been in the finals?
God, who does he think he is?
Ever since the first one he went to with the Heat.
The greatest basketball player.
Jordan's won like 6 or 7 rings though, compared to 3 for LeBron.
Okay, LeBron's been to the finals like
7 straight
times more than...
I think he's been 7 or 8 straight. So, I mean, he probably went to the same as Jordan.
Right,
Jordan just won them all.
No, he went to... Jordan was 6 for 6.
Hold on, 6 for 6.
I want to get your facts right. He was 6 for 6. And the years they didn't win the championship, there were more often than not that he didn't make the playoffs or lost in the first round. If LeBron makes it to the playoffs, he goes to the finals, period.
We'll save that for the LeBron versus MJ debates that we're going to start here soon. But I'm just going to say, let's look at the teams that MJ had, and let's look at the teams that LeBron has brought to the...
bringing that up... No, because that's a good segue into what we're talking about next.
Yeah.
Because people...
LeBron James teammate.
There's a big thing. LeBron James teammate, what he won his first championship with, was Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is going to be retiring this season, there's a big thing about LeBron was, so just to close that, was that he only won his first title with the Heat because he went to Dwayne Wade's team. It wasn't LeBron's team when he got there. It ended up by the end of that season, it kind of was LeBron's team, but at that point, it was Dwayne Wade's team. He had won a championship without him there.
And he had Shaq.
He had Shaq, yes. But he won a championship without LeBron there.
He did.
And it was Dwayne Wade's team then, too. So, like, people are just... But, like, okay, so let's talk about Dwayne Wade for a second. He just had his last regular season game for the
Out of Marquette.
Yeah.
Big East.
I don't care. The Big East, though. Yes, it was Big East, which obviously we were Syracuse fans, so they used to be the Big East. But that's really awesome, though. Dwayne Wade had a great game in his last game for the regular season.
30 points.
Yeah, he had a great game, which everyone always seems to. Kobe put up like 80 in his last game.
Yeah, he put up, I think it was 62 was the number.
Yeah, and he just kept shooting. I think
at the end of the game, I've never seen the end of the game.
It was our second year in college.
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting there, and you and I were watching the game, going back and forth texting about it. Like he just kept just launching shots from all over.
Oh, dude, he just kept shooting. He just kept going in.
What he's done for the last 15 years.
Oh, I know. But anyway, so Dwayne Wade, I mean, hats off to Dwayne Wade.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
He will be. I mean,
I'm glad he retired.
I'm glad he went back to Miami this season. Yeah, I think that's awesome. I hated that he left under the circumstances he did. That he was trying to chase one more title and Miami couldn't have got it for him. So, but I'm glad he went back.
Chicago for sure.
Yeah. Well, then he was on Cleveland for like a day. And
Chicago looked good for like a week, and then
Chicago hasn't been good since.
They looked good when they had D Rose and Butler, but it's just is what it is.
So, Joe, do you want to shift into this, because I saw this today and I was like, well, we should add news for Joe to talk about.
Yeah, well, this is kind of
because nobody submits anything for me to talk about.
I don't have too much to talk about here. I just think it's funny that TJ Dillashaw got suspended 2 years for PED use.
Who cares?
He got knocked out in 32 seconds.
Yeah.
So there's that. That's about all I got.
No, and when that suspension came out, like the thing is though, is that suspension starts right now. So he was going to take the next year off anyways because he just got embarrassed.
I mean, 2 years is probably, for a fighter of his caliber, it's probably,
I don't know what his contract looked like.
4 fights.
Yeah, I don't know what the contract looked like for his UFC fight, but usually it's 2 a year.
I mean,
at
least
2 a year.
4 or 5 months maybe.
Yeah.
You know, depending, unless you don't get hit in the last fight. But
well, yeah, he just lost in a 30-second fight. So the winner, it might have a fight in 3 months. Yeah.
Well, they were hyping up a rematch because Cejudo and Dillashaw killed everybody else. Mm-hmm. So they were talking about doing a rematch, but
between them again.
Obviously, that's
well, and
maybe a couple years.
We'll see what happens, but I
don't see anybody coming close to Cejudo. So we'll probably
2 years is a long suspension. I get that in the UFC it's because there's only they might only do a 1 match every 6 months.
Yeah.
So I guess I can understand why it is as long as it is, because they want to suspend him. Because remember, 4 matches in the UFC for him, that's $1 million almost probably.
That's probably 4 is probably way more than $1 million.
Well, I don't know. Some of the contracts
are
the main
event
bullshit.
That fight.
Yeah, so that one he probably had a big payday, but
that was a double check fight too.
The way the UFC contracts work is really weird. They'll get so what it is, I think, as far as when I was listening to Matt Mitrione talk about when he was in the UFC, which was only probably 4 or 5 years ago, for him, it was $130 for showing up, and then it was usually another. I mean, another 100 for a win.
Yeah, everyone's contract's different, so.
Well, and that's what one of the problems is
only he really knows.
With them.
I don't think they're public,
they're not,
unless you're a guy like Conor who tells you how much he makes after every fight.
But it doesn't count unless you tell him.
You don't actually.
When you make it $100 million,
the check actually doesn't cash unless you tell somebody what you made.
But yeah, UFC suspensions are weird, and it kind of shuts you down for a long time.
No, 2 years. 2 years is a long time to not be fighting. Don't forget, you can't just shut it down for 2 years and jump back into a training camp 2 years later. You know, he's got to. It sucks because he's got to maintain his shape. He's got to stay not in too much shape, but he can't literally do nothing for 2 years and expect to come back.
Well, he can probably take as many PEDs as he wants for the next year, get clean for the year, and then come back.
Flush him out.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening with him, but. I got no other UFC news right now. McGregor technically retired, but technically didn't retire.
McGregor.
He's gonna come out.
How many times has
he retired on Twitter, but he hasn't told anyone that he actually retired.
You don't say no to millions of dollars.
And
that's what I've learned. Yeah. A guy like Floyd Mayweather is a perfect example. You know, what athlete? No athlete has more money than Floyd Mayweather. But
LeBron James.
Every time, no, he doesn't.
He's worth more.
How much you want to bet?
I will
pull it up.
As far as money earned because of the sport, because Mayweather's at almost $1 billion.
$100 million in one fight, and for multiple fights. I highly doubt that LeBron James is worth more than Floyd Mayweather. But either way, even if he's not, the guy has more money than everybody.
Yeah, but talking about money, coming back to sports, I was just listening to a podcast with Uriah Faber, who was a big deal in the UFC for years. He was also an All-American wrestler when he was in college. But he was just talking about, so he's 35 or even older than that now. He's been retired for a couple of years, and he's he does a couple grappling stuff, as far as, because he's still kind of around the UFC, but not in the actual UFC or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But he they're already offering him to try to come back to fight, and I guess he was gonna come back, and they were talking about him.
Who's he supposed to fight?
They were just talking. He was just talking about. I think actually. He's in the same weight class as Dillashaw and a couple other people, as far as I remember. And I thought that he was just talking about that they were thinking about throwing him in with that or a couple other people. I'd have to figure out exactly what it was, but I was just listening to it, and he was talking about how they were trying to get him back for a couple more fights. But I don't think he'll sign a whole new contract again for a few more years because he's old now. I think he wants to come back.
Well, he's 39 right now.
39, is that what he is? Well, he's only got I think what he was saying, though, he's only got a few more years left if he wants to fight anymore. There's guys out there the one guy's 45 still fighting. So.
There's a lot of people who they're trying to bring back. Sometimes
it's fan favorites.
Yeah, exactly. You're running out of names.
When we grew up, I wasn't too into UFC, but I knew who he was because he was the face of UFC 10 years ago.
Right. I mean, you get guys like Chuck Liddell and Uriah Faber who they drag into fight sometimes, but who knows? Maybe I don't put it past them. So, any conclusions over there?
No. Go ahead. I'll go last.
All right. Well, so we don't really have any listener questions and none of you guys. I was hoping that some of you guys might ask us questions, but obviously you didn't, which is fine because this is the first time we're doing a live podcast. But let's get into some final thoughts then. So, you want me to start? So my final thought was regarding this AB Juju situation that happened over Twitter, and it also ties in a couple other things. But basically, some background context, AB tweeted out basically so someone was hyping up Juju on one of his posts that he was kind of talking shit about the Steelers organization on. Someone sent him the MVP of the Pittsburgh Steelers 2018 season was Juju Smith-Schuster. So he then tweets that back and was like, you don't fumble away the biggest game of the year and not make it into the playoffs and should be the MVP. Like, he basically just threw Juju under the bus. So then Juju comes out and was like, well, I had nothing but love and respect for you, bro. I don't know how big your ego has to get to just start throwing after people that love you. You know what I mean? So he just, he throws a little shot about the ego. And then AB comes out with, he said there was a couple other things. But he comes out with an Instagram picture of a DM from Instagram, or I think it might have been a Twitter DM. It doesn't matter. But it was from 2015 of Juju when he was at USC still. Coming up to AB going, man, I love you. I love everything you do. You're amazing. I just want to do you have any tips for a guy coming up? I'm a wide receiver at USC. I'm a sophomore. I just want to know, you're the best. I want to learn from the best, basically saying. And AB posts that just saying hashtag out of the next. And I'm going, doesn't that make Juju look awesome?
Makes him look
Dude, that's what everybody's saying. AB.
So, what was the plan there? Was he just trying to be Juju is the best, I'm sorry, I went after him? Or was he just trying to make a shot there that just didn't land, that no one knows what he was trying to do?
Dude, I think he was trying to put it in a picture of, AB is, his dad. Kind of saying, this child is, looking up to me, remember, where you came from. But, that wasn't the point that Juju said at all. It wasn't like Juju was like, oh, you're trash, I'm way better, and you, you're nothing. He was literally like, dude, I've been showing you respect, what's your problem? And AB's like, yeah, you have, look at this.
we got my cousin Josh going, AB is a freaking prima donna.
Here's the thing about...
Very true, Josh.
Here's the thing about that whole fumble situation.
60 minutes of football game, man.
And Juju was the only wide receiver out on the field. Was AB even in that game?
Yes, that was the game he was in. But he set out the last game of the season against the Bengals. It didn't matter.
Well, they still had to win.
Because after that fight was when he went off on Ben in practice. That could have been part of it too.
But they still had to win.
That play did not cost them the game. The missed defensive pass interference call for the winning touchdown cost them the damn game.
It's reviewable now.
There's a lot of...
Which is reviewable now. I don't know if we talked about that yet, but it's reviewable. They did not do it the way they should have.
I don't even like saying, oh, that play cost you the game.
No.
Yeah, maybe it could have, but there's 60 minutes in a football game. Stop it.
But it doesn't matter. He was salty. But I think, in my opinion, and I heard the guys from Pat McAfee Inc. talk about it today. They were going, maybe this was the best play of all time for AB. Going, hey, look, he looked up to me, and I'm sorry. Here he is. He's great. Maybe he was doing this so the city of Pittsburgh was going to just continue to hate AB and not have any flack against Juju. Because maybe he felt bad that he said that about Juju. And was like, hey, look, this guy is a genuinely nice guy, and he did love me, and I'm sorry. Who knows? AB's always...
He's a weirdo.
AB has always figured out what he was doing, though. He always has known what he's doing. So who knows?
We'll see what happens this year.
But then so Le'Veon stole the spotlight and posts a text that he got from James Conner from months ago, saying that James Conner texted him and was like, dude, thank you for being such a great mentor. I know you didn't even play this season, but you really you kept reaching out to me and you were great to me, and we had a lot of, I guess they had a lot of phone calls that no one knew about. They were good teammates, even though Le'Veon wasn't on the field.
Yeah.
So, and then Le'Veon kind of just tweeted that. I was like, I'm not usually public with my type of stuff and my privacy, but I just want James Conner is the real one. I know bad blood. Basically, kind of saying like that. Which James Conner was really appreciative he did something like that, because all this shit just happened with AB being a dick. So everyone's like,
nice.
Man, all of a sudden Le'Veon wasn't the biggest problem. It was always AB in the locker room, which is kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
It's not as
because everyone thought Le'Veon was a cancer or something like that, and that's why all this happened. But
I don't think any players thought that. I know players always had his back. I know it was always administrative type of guys.
I still think Big Ben's
people who had a problem.
Big Ben is the problem. And I think no quarterback should be going on live TV saying, you know, AB should have ran straight there. He did a button hook, and that's why I threw that interception. No quarterback should ever give the blame to wide receiver.
No, you never throw your.
It's always your fault. You're the guy who makes $25 million a year. It's always your fault.
Yeah,
it should be.
He is a team captain, so you kind of always.
You're a team captain who makes $20 million a year. It's your fault.
It just didn't go our way, and make the next one.
Yeah, you see how
you don't even have to go in there and say like, "Oh."
Andrew Luck literally laughs. I know he's just a big dumb idiot, even though he's the smartest guy one of the smartest guys in the NFL.
Not the smartest guy. He didn't go to Harvard.
He went to Stanford and aced the classes, but it's fine. But he'll literally just laugh and be like, "Yeah, I know. We just I don't know what happened. Everyone on the same page," and just laughs. Right. Like that's what he's just a big dumb jock in the way he speaks. You know what I mean? Like it's just
it's nice. You know what's funny? Speaking of that, it's nice to kind of play it off as the dumb jock sometimes. I know Joe Rogan. I was listening to a podcast with Joe Rogan and. Who's the other guy? Smart neurologist or neurosurgeon. Anyway, guy way smarter than Joe who does podcasts. And Joe's like, they were talking about like PC stuff and putting your foot in your mouth and stuff like that. And he's like, Joe's like, at the end of the day, I'm a dumb comic. Like, I can say whatever I want. Yeah. He's like, I can say whatever I want, and at the end of the day, I can be like, oh, well, sorry, I'm a comic. I'm trying to make people laugh. I'm stupid. He's like, you can't say that. You're smart. You're established. People listen to you. You got to actually be careful about what you say.
And comedians are so funny the way, like, Joe Rogan, one of his friends is Chris D'Elia or whatever, and Chris D'Elia is probably one of the least PC people on the internet. He's so mean to everybody. He just doesn't care about anything. And it's so funny.
All right, Joe.
All right, what else you got for final thoughts?
My final thoughts, and Kyle, I'm going to leave it off because it's a PC stream. But there was just announced today that Ben Askren and Jordan Burroughs will be wrestling at Beat the Streets. Beat the Streets is a freestyle event for charity, raise money for charity. And basically, it's just kind of one of those things where if you want to wrestle somebody and they want to make it happen, it happens. So we try to get some high-powered matches in there. Ben Askren, for those of you who don't know, just was traded to the UFC, just won his first fight. Also, he was a 3-time national champion. I want to get that right. I think it was 2 or 3. But anyway, really good wrestler. Jordan Burroughs is...
Ben Askren freaking trolled the internet, though, with that UFC fight, though. He got the crap beat out of him and then won at the end.
He got the crap beat out of him for the first, minute. And then just kind of came back.
I've never seen someone that looked like he got knocked out, stand
back. He looked like he was out for a minute.
Get back up and win a fight like that, though.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? That Ben's nickname is the Funk. And, that's kind of par for the course for him. And he'll be wrestling Jordan Burroughs, who is arguably one of the best amateur wrestlers to have ever lived. So, Ben Askren.
Yeah, I know they're really hyping that up already.
They are hyping that. Well, they signed it today.
Yeah, and, so it just blew up.
And Ben, I hope you know what you're doing, buddy. That's not you're not fighting.
I hope he's been wrestling too.
Yeah, well, no, he's definitely been wrestling. I don't think he hasn't been.
It's multi-disciplinary.
But here's the thing, man. Jordan Burroughs is the best in the world. He's a world and gold medalist. He literally is one of the best wrestlers to have ever done it, and is still doing it.
Yeah, he hasn't stopped.
It's not like he's been retired for 10 years.
He hasn't stopped professional wrestling. Yeah.
Right, he is literally the best wrestler, arguably the best American wrestler we have. Ben Askren was a great wrestler in college, 3-time national, amazing, amazing wrestler. He's been doing UFC for a while, so
for a year now. He was training for that first fight.
And it's funny because it's nothing against Ben Askren. I don't think anybody could beat Jordan Burroughs right now. There are maybe a handful of guys.
Yeah, if I know his name, he must be really up there.
The Russian guy beat him in the last World Tournament.
Yeah.
But, again, I don't think anybody can beat Jordan Burroughs. So, Ben Askren, nothing on you, buddy. I just, I can't wait to see it. So, I'm hoping you guys put on a show.
Josh also did say that he was thinking that the AB situation was AB trying to say that he was the dad.
I saw that.
And he was trying to say that he basically taught Juju everything he knew. Which, who knows? He didn't show the rest of the DM conversation. We don't know if he replied.
Yeah, I don't even care. AB is just making a show out of nothing.
So
let's wrap it up, Kyle.
For my final thought, I'm going to shamelessly plug my golf team again. Pretty big deal for us to be going to nationals, and I can't say enough how proud I am of these guys to get to where we are within a year. So looking forward to it in a couple weeks, and we're going to play with a bunch of teams that are going to kick our ass. We're going there to have a good time. We are.
Well, I mean, and that
destroyed.
is nationals on the club level. That is what it is.
Well,
you go to party at nationals. You don't go to actually win.
Oh well, because there's a nationals competition, like for the national championship for club, and then there's the invitational. We're in the invitational, but the teams that didn't make the regular championship go to the invitational. These are also teams still from the South that, hey, if you didn't make your D1 golf team in the South, you're gonna play for the club team, and they're still really good. They're shooting like a couple over par, and we're just gonna have a good time. But
all right, so
like I said, proud of the boys.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And
it's I know I never even played for the team because we didn't become an athletic team until this year. I already graduated, but it was still great. All right, so one last thing. This is the greatest week of sports. We had the NCAA championship game for basketball. We have the Frozen Fours this week.
Yep.
We have NHL playoffs start this week. NBA playoffs start this weekend.
Nobody cares about the NBA.
And the Masters
Literally
is this week.
everybody cares
And guess
more
what else
about
is Sunday?
basketball than golf or baseball.
I know.
No,
This is also Masters week.
Just
which
because
is,
you
adds to
don't
that,
like
though.
something does not make...
Yeah, you're correct.
I can have my own opinion.
And then,
so
this is... So
it's
that
not your
is
opinion,
everything
it's
that
a
is...
fact.
So then the last thing about this week that's great is that Game of Thrones...
Game of Thrones, that's what's actually
But
important.
starts on Sunday.
That's next week.
No, I still count Sunday as this week. So it's fine. But
All right, wait, last thing.
did you guys want to talk about who
who's
you guys...
last thing on the... Who's going to make it on the throne?
Okay, yeah, so
Throw it out there.
let's
So
do
I
that
just
question.
need a
Okay,
name.
hold on. I want two questions.
No
Who's going to
explanations.
die first in this season?
Who's the first main
Who's
death?
the first main character to die, and who do you think's gonna end up on the game? Not who do you want, who do you think's gonna
Who do
end
you
up?
think?
And you can say who do you want as well on the
Alright, my first... I'll start us off. The first death is going to be... I think Daenerys ends up on the throne. I think Daenerys ends up on the throne.
We'll go around. I'll go last.
And I think... I'll give that... Let me think about the death for a minute.
I think Sansa's gonna end up on the throne. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. Quiet one, but she's...
I mean, okay. I'm not even going to say what I was going to say, but who do you think's going to die first then?
Jon Snow.
I think Jon Snow's going to be
the
first death.
person who dies.
He's the main
Jon
character of the
Snow?
damn show.
Oh my god, this
Alright,
guy.
so I love how
Have you even watched Game of
I love
Thrones?
how no one said Jon. So I want Jon Snow to end up on the throne because he is technically the rightful heir. Because he's Rhaegar and Lyanna's child. He is literally, and they were married. Samwell found out that they were married before they had the kid. So he actually is the rightful heir to the throne over Daenerys.
He is.
But
I don't
think
he's
so.
gonna die,
So I'm not even gonna get into what I
don't-
We should have a Game of Thrones podcast next week.
Kyle, I don't think
because
you're
I
wrong.
want to talk.
I think Jon is going to die. I don't think he's going to be the first one to die.
I think.
But I don't think Jon makes it to the end of the series.
So I want Jon to end up on the throne, but I actually am. I like this fanfare that I've seen go around that Tyrion Lannister will be the king of Westeros at the end of all this. And in a George R.R. Martin fashion, he is the most deserved of of his messed up world that he created. He is the imp of House Lannister, and he came out and killed his mom. So I think there's a big there's one of the biggest fan fictions about this is that like fan theories is that Tyrion Lannister actually is a Targaryen.
Yeah, I heard that theory.
So because the wife, no one really knows where the mom was. There's really no backstory about that, but Tywin was the hand of the king. And Tywin was the hand of the king for Aerys. He very well could have had sex with any of the Targaryen girls that were there.
Well,
and that might be why he killed his wife, because he always hated that he made the mistake or something like that of all this stuff. So who really knows what happened? I like the fan theory.
Fan theories. I would like to do a
We
fan
could do-
theories
we could-
one.
we could
do
do
Why don't
a-
we do one Saturday or Sunday before?
If we have time, let's do one and post it before.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude,
Let's do it
Sunday
Saturday or
before.
Sunday.
Sunday before. We'll do a before the throne Sunday.
Yo, chat, should we do a Game of Thrones fan theory one? I don't care.
We'll just do a Game of Thrones freaking
Like Kyle's
stream.
gonna do baseball.
We'll just talk about Game of Thrones and stuff before the premiere.
Because I saw a big fan theory. I'm like, that's right.
So
like, that's happening.
Did you see the one about Jamie?
We'll talk.
Hey, can you save it?
We'll say.
All right, we'll say it. We'll do a fan theory podcast or something.
First person to die, Jordan Mormont.
First person to die, I think was going to be.
I can't think of it. I gotta think of the characters.
I'm trying to think of who's still alive. It's better like
Jordan's
that.
still alive. Or there's a lot of people I just can't see them kill. I'm thinking of main characters.
I think that Grey Worm might be one of the first deaths.
Yeah, but he doesn't count.
He's not a main character.
I know, but when you look at like who is the main
Sorry.
characters of this season right now, you have. Yeah, you shouldn't really say that.
in the show.
But like you have the Starks, and then on Daenerys' side you have Daenerys. You have what's the
Melisandre.
No, that's the Red Woman. What's the the hot like slave
I
girl.
know what you're talking about.
But and then you have Grey Worm, and then you have Tyrion as like the Targaryen people. Then you have obviously all the Starks.
Well, that's why I said Jorah.
All right, we're gonna do a Game of Thrones podcast. All right, let's end at this. Send in your stuff to stuck_on_sports, stuckonsports7 on Twitch, which you're watching right now.
Free Prime sub. If you have a Prime subscription and you have a Twitch, give me your free Prime sub. It's free. It's free. It literally
the
takes
more
2
money
minutes
our company has, the more content you guys can get.
And the better you can hear us, because I'm not too positive or confident on how this audio came out. So we'll find out in a minute.
Who knows? But anyways, so thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching.
I'm Kyle. That's Joe, at Joe Coutinho on Twitter.
I can't see your point, but thank you.
At Matt Callaway. I'm at KyleMark15, and we'll talk to you next week.
Love you guys.
See ya.